Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio here today. We'll get some little stuff of all three Ole Miss sports. Talk a little about the Super Bowl that happened a couple days ago. I think it's still within the frame of reference for that. I'll be back with you this morning with those things and more coming up on the show. Show brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You get 10 free dollars. All you have to do that is head to any Blue Sky location in Mississippi, take a picture of the QR code, automatically opens up the Exxon mobile app, 1,000 points, $10 there with the Blue Sky here in Oxford or anywhere up and down I-55 and throughout North Mississippi. Lunch specials $5.69, two sides bread, 32-ounce drink, and more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that other people do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the service. You'll love the product. You'll love everything about Clark Ford. They'll take great care of you. Corey always says he wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. You'll find out what that means when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Rafters Music and Food hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Be a great place to go grab a burger, a po' boy, an appetizer, great beer selection, full bar, and more. Just a great place to hang out. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and also in New Albany.
So, I had a couple things today. We've got a lot of stuff going on the site at rebelgrove.com. Neal with a long feature yesterday on Troy Brown, the Central Michigan transfer who's heading in to be the middle linebacker, most likely, hopefully, here with the Rebels in the fall. So you can read about his story coming in from Central Michigan, Flint from hometown. A lot of stuff there for him. Really good guy. Neal and I sat down with him last week. Enjoyed him a lot. Seems genuine, really good fit for the team. So that and more. Also announcing that sometime prior to fall, we'll present the Troy Brown Show. That is presented by our hand raise guys, sponsor. Neal, I'll let you tell people a little bit about them in a second. But it's going to be neat. That's kind of following up. We got some other stuff in the works as well. But Troy will talk some MAC. We'll talk stuff about his first experiences in the SEC and stuff about his story, which is really cool as well. So just that and hopefully more news coming along those fronts as well soon.
Yeah, the Troy Brown Show will be brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. We'll tape our first one sometime probably in March, I would guess mid-March-ish. That's brought to you by those guys. Remember, the same different names, same great products and services. Today's kind of an example of this. You woke up this morning, it was cold. It's going to be 70 degrees by the end of the day. Back cold tonight. Getting to that point of the year where some people use their heat and their air conditioning at the same time. And you also know that there's one more cold spell coming. That's the way this works. There's one more cold spell coming, and then the spring comes, and you probably want to make sure that air conditioning system is in great shape. So get in touch with the people at Comer Heating and Air if you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area at 662-801-1777. If you live in DeSoto County, Hernando, Memphis, that area, get in touch with the people at Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, 662-429-4429. They stepped up pretty big time on this, working on another one as well that I think may get done, but when it does, we'll tell you about it. But the businesses that are stepping up and make this possible, the way that you repay them is to use them for your business. So there you go.
We were not live with you. We did have a podcast yesterday. Brian Rippey and I did kind of a deep dive on Ole Miss baseball, a season preview for Friday. It opens up against Central Florida, well, not Central Florida, Charleston Southern at 4 o'clock on Friday for that. We'll talk a little more about it in a while, but Ole Miss going with Derek Diamond, John Gaddis, the transfer from Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and then Drew McDaniel for a weekend rotation to open up the season. Basketball tonight. It is against South Carolina. What is a start time on that one, Neal?
6 o'clock.
And so he's early.
I think it's 6 o'clock.
Good. Early game.
We'll make sure it's 6 o'clock.
Okay. So South Carolina, Ole Miss. Again, we'll talk a little about that more in a minute, too. Just kind of setting the table a little bit. Would you be in? Is this enough odds here? Obviously, you've got multiple quarterbacks in the running for this, but I saw this on Twitter this morning. multiple Vegas sports books running Matt Corral as plus 500 to be the first quarterback taken. Is that enough odds or no? 5-1. I would want a little more. I do think it is 6. Okay,
6 o'clock.
I would want a little more. I do think he's going to make more of a run because he didn't get a senior day, and I think he's going to have a really good pro day and combine where it at least tightens up into a better bet in a month or two.
It just sounds like there's multiple franchises that are in love with Willis right now, and so he would be my bet to go first. But yeah, Matt could blow people away. I don't know what his ankle health is.
Yeah,
I assume it's fine. I haven't heard otherwise, but, you know, he did lose a little time there. And the Senior Bowl can be beneficial for people. They get a chance to look at them, and teams get a chance to watch them in a pro system, in a pro practice. And, you know, Willis did really well. Pickett did really well.
He had a good week.
So
his only negative at this point has been the hand size. I mean, no jokes. I mean, that's been the only real negative to his campaign at this point.
So we'll see. I mean, they all have pro days. I think Matt's probably ends up being the second or third quarterback taken, just reading the tea leaves. But he could blow people away at a combine and change everything. But as of today, I'd probably bet on Willis. So I don't know, 5-1 odds. If you want to put $20 on it, that wouldn't be bad. You could.
I would want no interest in it if the odds were any lower than that at all.
No.
350, 400. No, I'm good. It would take at least 5-1 to go. Okay, yeah, it's worth the 20 or the hundy. Just see, see what kind of happens at that point. So I don't know. Other thing yesterday, Ole Miss because of hiring Springer from Marshall as their special teams coordinator, reaching out to the kicker from USC out of the portal. Neal wrote about him yesterday as well. So
he heard from Ole Miss for the first time on Sunday. And then he had a conversation with the new special teams coach.
He had a prior relationship with him, and that is what spurred this.
Yeah. So. That's at rebelgrove.com. I don't even think that story's behind a paywall, so you can just go read it. It's there.
I don't think that we have any update on Caden Costa that I'm aware of. I mean, it feels like he's going to have to get really, really lucky to be eligible in 2022.
I mean, that's my guess. That's the way I read the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, the rules say 1 year. Not the rest of one season.
No. It's 1 calendar year from the date of decision or whatever, however you want to phrase that.
Make him eligible for the Egg Bowl next season. I mean, that's his problem. So they can leave him on scholarship, and he can continue to be on scholarship, but he can't play.
What do you do with the guy that has 2 years even after this, and obviously is talented? I mean, where would your head be on what to do with his spot?
Caden's spot?
Yeah. Do you operate at 84 scholarships for a year because of a kicker?
Probably. I mean, I probably carry 2 kickers. I mean, what I would really do, if I were Ole Miss, is I would sign the kid from USC. I would carry 2 kickers. And one of 2 things is going to happen. Lewis is either going to have a great year. He's draft eligible. He has 3 years of eligibility left, but this is his 3rd year, so he could go pro. Or if he does so well, Caden's going to leave. He'll get in the portal. That's what I'd do. I'd cover my bases. I wouldn't go through an 11-game season without a kicker.
Well, yeah, not doing that for sure. Yeah.
And so I don't know where else you're going to go get a kicker. And this kid has offers from Ohio State, LSU, Notre Dame. He's 26. Miami just offered. 26 teams have reached out and offered. He's kicked at the college level. He's enamored with Lane Kiffin, and he's tight with Jackson Dart and Michael Trigg from playing together at USC. And
makes sense.
From talking to him, I think I think Ole Miss would have a real shot, like a real shot, like maybe be the prohibitive favorite with an offer. But I think if they don't offer fairly soon, I think he's going to go elsewhere. He's pretty intrigued by Ohio State. Ohio State also. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be?
Yeah, sure.
He's excited about the SEC. The thought of kicking in the SEC, the thought of playing in the SEC. He's followed it. He's a really bright, personable kid. he would do remarkably well. I mean, from a media standpoint and all of that. I mean, he's funny. I mean, I do enjoy talking to the transfer portal kids more than the kids.
Because it's just business.
It's just kind of business, and they've been through it a little bit, and so now they're a little older. I mean, it's more fun to talk to college juniors than it is high school juniors. Just difference in maturity. I enjoy talking to my kids more. I mean, Campbell's more fun to talk to at 20 than she was at 16.
Yeah. It's just
the way it is. But he's sharp. But, they'll have to move pretty quickly. And Springer recruited him when Springer was at University of Arizona. Parker's from Phoenix, that area. So we'll see. I don't know how you can, if you're Ole Miss, roll the dice on Caden Costa.
No, you have to have another capable kicker on the roster.
Because, look, maybe he wins his appeal. Maybe there's a lot we don't know. I mean, I'm sure there is. But on the surface, I don't really see where he has much of a case.
No, I mean,
he failed the test. They retested. He failed it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's a prohibited substance, and the penalty is 1 year. There you go.
It hit Will Greer back in the day. I mean, they have done this to people over the course of the last decade or however long this rule has been this exactly way in place.
So you cover your ground, and at the end of the year, you sort it out. If they're both successful kickers, they're not going to both sit around on scholarship.
No, of course not.
If Lewis comes in and he tears it up, then
it is what it is.
Costa would get in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, the portal's.
And somebody asked, would he lose the year of eligibility? It would just count as his red shirt. I mean, he's not redshirting anywhere, so he's fine and would still have 3 years of playing time eligibility remaining.
He has 4 to play 3.
Yeah. However that wants to run.
And he could go someplace and kick 1 year and go pro. And Caden's got a pro leg.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so the odds, that's the thing about the whole red shirt year thing. The number of guys on a Power 5 roster that are going to stick at one place for 5 years is going to be so small. Because if you're really good, you're going to go pro after year 3 or 4. And if you're not really good, you're probably going to get processed out. There will be some guys.
I mean, it is a fine line of what would be required to hang on that long.
Yeah,
it's
the whole red shirt thing, I get it. And it's just part of the changing landscape. And a lot of people just aren't crazy about change and stuff. I get that. So they get hung up on the whole red shirt year thing. But if a guy shows up and you look at him, you're like, he's got a chance to play for us. I don't know. That in the past, that goes, let's redshirt him. Let's develop him. Let's see what happens. Now it's, let's play him. Let's see what happens. If he's not significantly better than this, he's not going to be here in a couple of years anyway.
Well, it's one of the two things that stuck out from those roster snapshots that we did last week of putting up what the eligibility was for every position on the field, whether they'd used their transfer portal year and how much they played at whatever their respective school was last year. You can find those at rebelgrove.com. I'm going to create some sort of link. I just don't know what that looks like yet for them. But the two things that were fairly eye-opening is that Ole Miss last year, if they could help anywhere on the field, special teams or not, they were more than willing to play that 5th and 6th game and wasn't worried about the red shirt at all. It was just playing if you need. Like Braylon Brown played 5 games. Okay, fine, move on. Like I just don't think it was a thought.
Yeah. And I saw some people kind of criticize Kiffin for it. And 2 years ago, I'd have been like, yeah, man, that was irresponsible.
Yeah,
But today, with the way the portal is,
I mean, we're one step away from allowing trades, so whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, the way it's set up now, you might as well play them.
And then the other thing that thing was eye-opening about was, and we know this anyway, and you know it in your head, but when you see it, it even adds it on even more, because some people mention this too, that COVID year has jumbled these rosters into this mess of eligibility. Because like you said, you need guys going pro. You need guys leaving because Ole Miss only has like 4 or 5 dudes with 1 year of eligibility remaining. Literally the entire damn roster can return next season if it wants to.
Yeah.
Which creates some signing class. I mean, oh God. I mean, there's craziness there.
And on a year where 18 guys have already left for the portal, and I assume
a few more will.
At least a couple more will.
But you're also putting people back in those places that will have additional years probably.
So you're either going to have some guys leave early, or you're going to have guys enter the portal, or you're not going to have room to sign a full class. which I think the latter is going to be the case.
You think that's going to start happening where they just can't do the 28, the 32, the 25, the whole deal?
Well, I think that's going to be the case at Ole Miss this year. I mean, if you told me that Ole Miss signs 22 guys, 12 high school kids, and 10 transfer portals, do I buy it? Sure. But to get to 22, you'd have to process some guys.
Well, that's what I about to say. Because even adding a portal requires a spot, so you're still.
Of course, the 85 is still a number. People get hung up on 32. You can't add 32 every year unless you are doing a lot of processing.
Yeah.
And there will be programs that do a lot of processing.
Yeah, that's filling out the entire thing plus 7. So.
Now, I talked to a coach at a smaller level yesterday who said, hey, we are going to go pure high school. I'm like, really?
Oh.
And he's like, yeah, because there's more guys that are falling to us.
Yeah.
So we're going to go get
the average talent level has increased for those guys.
Yeah, they're like doing a whole roster reset.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, like right now, guys with 1 year of eligibility remaining on Ole Miss, I'm just scanning this list quickly. Tavius Robinson has 2 to play 1. This is on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Troy Brown has 1 to play 1. He was at Central Michigan a long time. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining trying to get to the NFL. Otis Reese has 2 to play 1. Defense, that's it. On offense,
Mason Brooks.
he might be it.
He has 1 to play 1.
He literally might be it. He is Jordan Rhodes. That's it.
Okay, yeah.
Those 2 dudes.
2 guys that are basically using their COVID year.
Yeah, 4 or 5 people on the whole damn roster.
And Troy's using his COVID year. Troy Brown.
Correct, yes.
Because he was at Central Michigan for 5 seasons.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Redshirted, played a little, then started 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But because the 2020 year was such a cluster, he got the extra year, and he's going to use it.
He got banged up in the middle of the year last year, wants to stay healthy, wants to play at a bigger level. He did at least get some experience against 3 Power 5 teams last year. They played Missouri, LSU, and Washington State.
That's correct.
They were in the bowl game snafu when things got moved around, and they ended up in the Sun Bowl. Again, you can read all that at rebelgrove.com. I tell you, speaking of Troy, speaking of just the guys who have 2 to play 1, I feel like Otis Reese deserves like some transfer award in this thing because that dude transfers from Georgia, and then he was directly responsible for Troy Brown and Mark Robinson over the last 2 years. I mean, that cat has you can't say Otis hadn't put the word out. I mean,
Well, it worked out for him. I mean, he left a place where he was having a hard time getting on the field and got to a place where he's increased his pro stock. I mean, this is a big year coming up for Otis. He's got to prove that he can handle the physicality of it. He's got to prove that he can be better in pass coverage, but it certainly has given him a chance to raise his stock. He was going to get he was on his way to getting processed at Georgia.
yeah.
And so instead he took advantage of his situation. But look, the 85 thing is real. So when your roster's full and you only have a handful of guys, and you just chronicled them, who are automatically out, who's now other guys will leave, like Nick Broker's not going to stay past this.
Jeremy
season.
James is draft eligible,
And I suspect Jeremy will, with a strong season, go pro.
Mm-hmm.
Evans could go pro. It's his 3rd year, right? 3rd year of college. Zach, is that right? He played at TCU 2 seasons.
Yeah, let me look. Is that right? Is he in that
Well, almost positive because he was a target that first year.
It was that first year, wasn't it? That's what I was trying to come up with.
So he played in 19. He played in 20 and 20. I don't know. Yeah, he played in 20 and 21 at TCU. So he could go pro after a strong season.
That's where it actually becomes the more critical thing, and the thing I will find a way to document and add to those things is who's draft eligible. Because frankly, that might matter even more than eligibility.
Well, it's anybody who played.
Yes, you are
starting
correct.
in 2020. They're draft eligible after this season.
Yeah, Zach Evans played 208 snaps in 2021 and 119 snaps in 2020 in 2020.
Yeah, so he could go pro.
Yeah.
So they'll. It's kind of a mixed bag there. People go, I don't want him to go pro, but but you need, if he has a great season, he would be a strong candidate to go pro because he's a running back, number one. Then number two, that opens up a spot. So the roster turnover is just going to become such a different storyline than what people are used to because the whole 5th-year senior thing, I think that's going to be a dying breed. unless it's guys that you're bringing in like Troy Brown, like Mason Brooks, those kinds of things. But guys that you sign and then 5 years later they're still at your program, I don't think that's going to be very common at the Power 5 level at all.
No, we're about to see college basketball type turnover where it's just move,
for sure. Well, I mean, if the numbers that I just gave out, that is college basketball-ish. If 4 or 5 guys leave, a handful of guys go pro, you process a handful of guys, you bring in 12 high school seniors and 10 transfer portal guys, that is kind of college basketball-ish. And I think that's where they're headed. It's where Ole Miss is headed, so obviously. I mean,
that's their goal.
They make no bones about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even what could happen. It's the plan, if they will. So, all right, we'll hit a couple of things in a second. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You can local underwriting and understand your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
This is the last week to register for Oxford Park Commission Youth Baseball and Softball for the 2022 spring season. The leagues are open for ages 5 to 17 in baseball, 5 to 12 in softball. It's $50 per participant. The season begins on Monday, April the 25th. All of the games are played at lovely M-Trade Park. Go to oxfordparkcommission.com. You have until February the 20th. So you got 5 days. If you want to your child to play baseball or softball, you need to get them signed up this week at oxfordparkcommission.com. Lots of college basketball going on, a lot of NBA. If you want to bet that, go to BroThrow. It's a sports betting network that's free to use. It's a really cool, fun way to bet. No third party, no juice. Over time, that's going to save you money. You can start your own group, make friends, invite your friends. Payment happens within 24 hours of the conclusion of your bet. Just go to brothrow.com to get registered today. Go to Dead Soxy. Their Valentine's Day special just ended at midnight last night, but you can still get 25% off by entering the promo code Rebel Grove at checkout at deadsoxy.com, DEADSOXY.com. Game Changer patches are the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch is used before or while you drink. The overtime patch is used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game and ready for the next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com. Enter the promo code RebelGrove20. That's RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. Also brought to you by Automation and Control Systems, LLC, ACS, owned and operated by my good friend Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. Established in 2013, ACS is a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. They've got a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. They can custom tailor software packages, custom design electrical control panel solutions, and much more. It's a full-service AutoCAD services provider and a full-service fiber optic cabling solution provider. If you're in need of custom HMI and SCADA solutions or large horsepower VFD specialist, ACS has you covered. They can service and install Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. Go to ACSLLCMS.com for more information or call 662-601-4381.
Podcast is brought to you by Johnson Hill Creamery. It's johnsonhillcreamery.com. They're right there on White Oak Lane, just off Molly Bar in Oxford, 662-419-9201. Cheese at johnsonhillcreamery.com. And you know about the king cakes. Still plenty of time to get those. You can order those all the way through Fat Tuesday, which is March 1st. So a couple more weeks for that. Multiple flavors. The lemon curd, the cinnamon, the pecan praline, or the new cheesecake one that is pretty neat as well, where they take their cheesecake dip, put it in there, and then and bake it up for you. And remember, they make all their cheeses and things locally and in-house there every single day. So whether it be cheeses, charcuterie plates, artisanal cheese trays, and more. Johnson Hill Creamery, again, just off Molly Bar in Oxford. That's 662-419-9201. I don't think you or I had a ton going on. What was your Super Bowl like? What'd you do?
Worked most of it. Worked on that Troy Brown stuff for a good bit. Got a couple of calls that I was waiting on right before the game started.
Okay.
I mean, I was disappointed in the way it ended. More disappointed with I thought the third down call was an egregious miss. I would have loved
the holding or the play call. Sorry, which one are we talking about?
The penalty on Wilson,
gotcha.
where that was not holding. That's a bad call. I would have loved to have seen that game come down to a fourth down. That would have been fun. I mean, Stafford was brilliant in the second half, but I would have loved to have seen that particular play have to play out. 4th and goal at the 8 would have been fun.
I don't know if directed. I don't mean in a very tangible, directed way. But do you think in their heads it was a makeup call from the missed touchdown or the touchdown that resulted from a penalty earlier in the game?
I mean, certainly possible. That's a hell of a time to do it. I think they obviously knew at the half they'd missed that call on Higgins bad. They knew that had impacted the Super Bowl.
Sure.
But to call a game one way for 58 and a half minutes.
See, that's the thing, is that they let them just frankly assault one another for the entire game.
They called nothing for 58 and a half minutes. And then the calls that they also missed on that very play, both Rams tackles jumped. They didn't call it.
Yeah.
On the 4th down play, Aaron Donald lined up off sides. They didn't call it. They just couldn't figure out what they were doing. But you can't even say it. You can't say it. They did not go get the most veteran officials to call that game. They did not have the most experienced officials calling that game. They didn't, and it showed. In a big stage, some younger officials kind of ate the whistle until the end when they called it.
And then, I get it's a football play, and I don't even know who hit him. I don't remember who the Bengal was. But the play of the game was the helmet-to-helmet on Cup, because that's holding on the Rams right there.
10 yards.
Yeah, you move them up back to the 16 or the 18 or the 14
was it Von
or
Bell
whatever it was.
hit him?
It may have been Von Bell.
Yeah.
You back them up, and that puts them into a ridiculous situation at that point.
And I think it was the right call on the targeting. I mean, I think it was the right overall call. The game. That's what you hated. It was shaping up as this brilliant, like McVay on 4th down at his own 32 says, "Screw it, we got to go for it here."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and calls, because on 3rd down they didn't get it. And I mean, right before that play, I'd been telling people that were here, I was like, "Man, the Rams, it's not automatic. They can get 1 yard."
No, because they couldn't run the football at all.
The Bengals did a great job defensively against the run, and I thought, well, they're going to have to pull something out of their hat. You know what's funny also on that last play, where the last meaningful play.
Yeah, first play of the second half. Sorry, Higgins' touchdown was the first play of the second half.
Oh, that's right. But I'm sure they knew that they'd missed it. The last play, if Burrow has one more second, just one more second. Did you see this?
He dumps that off, yeah.
No,
yeah.
Jalen Ramsey fell down.
Oh, did he really? No, I didn't see this.
Jamar Chase wide open. It's a touchdown. I mean, it's right there. And it's just, but it's the beauty of the NFL. If you go back and look at the Bengals playoff games, they could have lost to the Raiders, could have lost to the Titans, could have lost to the Chiefs. Were 20 yards from forcing overtime against the Rams. And the Rams could have lost to the Bucks. Game went to overtime.
Yeah, sure.
Could have lost to the 49ers. I mean, what makes that sport the king that it is that you go back and you look back through the playoffs, and if you played the playoffs again and again and again, you probably wouldn't get the same results. But Ramsey fell down on that play. I don't know whether he got juked down or whether he fell down, but Jamar Chase was just going to run free. And so if he had one more second, and see Donald's lined up, it's just interesting. It was not a very good officiating crew. There was some criticism kind of out there in the NFL Reddit world with people who are pretty informed about the selection of that officiating crew. So, they got burned by it. Because I do think, look, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to do anything to the NFL, but I do think it took away from what should have been a kind of a historic game. It took something away from it that it ended like that with those, like, people looked at that 3rd down call and like, that's not the way this was supposed to go. I mean, that was a big-time play. You'd love to see what McVay and Stafford and Kupp would have dialed up on fourth down with their season on the line. The whole thing right there. But Kupp was brilliant. Stafford was brilliant. Stafford's that no-look throw where he looks to Bell's left and then throws it into a window. I mean, that was a big moment in that game too. I mean,
OBJ getting hurt changed the entire game.
Absolutely. Yeah. Took away, let them really focus on some other things.
Because Fronick or whatever had a horrible game in place of Beckham.
And then Cincinnati's Achilles heel, you knew it would. You knew they'd struggle with it, and they did. They just had a very hard time protecting Burrow.
Yeah. I mean, it took a while. Donald was not overly effective because of the way they were blocking him early, and they doubled him, did a lot of chipping, did everything they had to do. I mean, you can't single up on Aaron Donald all night long.
And the Rams made an adjustment that forced them to go into more single on Donald, and they couldn't handle him.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that was the one. Thought Burrow played fine.
He did fine for a guy who just had no time.
Yeah.
And he missed a couple of throws that would have been big. He had a couple of opportunities there. I didn't like on their drive, the third down call to Samaje Perine. I hated it. I'm like, right there, let's throw. We're throwing. But they had such a hard time running between the tackles.
But backup running back at Aaron Donald.
Yeah, that just wasn't a good play call. They ran one screen the whole night against a team that was pretty susceptible to screens because of how aggressive they are with the pass rush. It was a great game, and probably the best team certainly won. The Bengals will be interesting moving forward. They're a young team. They have $50 million to spend, and they have one area that clearly needs to be spent on, and they know it. So,
otherwise, they're pretty damn solid and good. Because, as you've been saying for a while, the defense was better than it got credit for being. Played well. They get pressure. They do some things. I mean, they're not bad at all defensively.
No, they're better than they get credit for defensively. I get a kick out of some of the people that are like, well, they won a bunch of lucky games. And that's the NFL. If you don't, that's what makes the NFL great is that most games are pretty damn competitive. Most games are a one-possession game. That's why you don't look on Sunday at the betting lines and go, hey, Cincinnati minus 25.5. I mean, frankly, it's where the college game just is inferior to the pro game, is that you don't have nearly as many close matchups. A different thing. It's inferior is the wrong word. Yeah. It's just a completely
four times as many teams.
And it's just a completely different sport. I mean, it's the same. I get it's the same sport, but it's a different sport.
Sure.
What drives people to cheer for college football is something completely different than what drives most people to cheer for for NFL teams. It's just a different thing. Not a criticism, just a difference. But that's the NFL by nature is a lot of close games. Like I just said about the playoffs. I mean, look at the Rams. I mean, the Rams almost lost in the divisional playoff.
Yeah. The NFL, there was matchup discrepancies, and they punished people wild card weekend because there was a clear gap on the matchups in those games.
Yeah.
And then after that, just flip coins. Every game was a flip of a coin. Well, I mean, literally, yesterday, from a straight who won the game with the most time left, that might have been the most of the last 7 games of the postseason, the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it still was decided in the final minute.
Yeah. I just didn't like the third down call.
Yeah.
I'm probably throwing something there. That might have been a time to throw a screen. Or even take a shot. Because they're kind of bunched up against the run. The shot they were going to take on because I think they were taking a shot on fourth down. I think the plan was to go to chase deep.
Okay.
I mean, Zach Taylor's come out and said they weren't playing for the field goal. They were trying to win the game.
He went for fourth downs all day. He was doing that. He was trying to maximize.
Now, I thought that first one was a mistake.
At the 50?
I thought that was an error.
Instead of pinning them and letting it.
Well, just everybody, you're still kind of in a boxing match. You're still just sort of feeling each other out. And that would have been an opportunity to go, hey, let's punt. Let's not give them let's make them drive the field. Because they'd already seen that, hey, that first drive of the Rams, we're okay against their run, if you're the Bengals. And the Rams were going to try to establish that running game for a while. They didn't want to get into a track meet. Because Stafford has a tendency to make mistakes. He made a couple of mistakes.
Yeah, he's flame-throwing. It's good and bad and all over the place. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. But it was a great game, and the NFL once again put on a great show, and that's what they do really well.
You put any stock into Donald or McVay retiring?
Sure.
Strong rumors McVay may go do TV for a while, do a Gruden route, and then come back at some point.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
36.
you know how hard he worked. There's a burnout that comes with that. I mean, they just obsessive work around the clock. Can they repeat that? The Rams kind of are the opposite of the Bengals, right? They've kind of mortgaged a lot of future
superstars in one shot
for what they got, and it worked. They got the title. Everybody
100%
gets a ring.
Done.
Absolutely, it's you say success, but there's going to be a price to pay for that success.
They got to break it up a little bit.
Yeah, so I could see that, and
I mean Stafford doesn't have a lot left.
If I'm Matthew Stafford, I don't know what his financial situation is, but
you assume it's pretty damn good.
I would assume, and I probably think about it at this point. I got a ring. I'm a Hall of Famer now.
Oh, you think he's in?
Absolutely.
Do you really?
Yes. I watched his career in Detroit. People just don't realize how good he was there.
If you're a Lions fan today, because we talk about this on this podcast all the time, you got to have the quarterback. You got to have the quarterback. That's what's going to get you go. They had the quarterback and sucked. They had the quarterback and couldn't do anything else around the quarterback to not even be a factor.
Well, but that's the thing about the NFL. As much as it's parity, you still have to be smart. You have to have good organizational. The organizations that win are good. That's why people look at the Rams, for example, and they look at McVay and they go, okay, well, we can't hire McVay. Let's hire someone who's been with McVay. Detroit made a lot of really bad GM moves, head coaching moves, a lot of bad roster moves. People, I mean, they're, two NFL superstars in Detroit looked at their franchise and went, I'm done. I quit. Matthew Stafford's career was just in shambles there. And I tried to tell people when he got traded to the Rams, that's a game changer because that dude is a great player, and he is. But no, I mean, I could see Aaron Donald going, I don't want to work this hard anymore. I wanted a ring. I got a ring.
I'm a Hall of Famer.
I'm 30. How much more do I want to do?
Right, he's in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
my gut, if you told me to actually put odds on it, my gut says McVay is more likely than Donald. But I don't know why in the hell I think that. And now I think McVay will be back. I don't think he's done coaching right now.
But he could go do TV. He's very, very good. I watched that podcast with him and Kyle Shanahan and stuff, and he's extremely good, very bright.
Mm-hmm.
You don't lose on TV on Sunday.
Like you said, you got a ring. I mean,
no, he could kind of do the John Madden deal. Madden was a young guy, got a ring, got out, went into TV, and made a fortune. And people watch NFL.
Yeah, and now a lot of this is coming from McVay a couple days before the Super Bowl, talking about family balance and a lot of that stuff, and what do we need to do, what do we not need to do.
Sure. And sometimes guys just can't stop. I mean,
yeah, because it almost feels like, if nothing else, he's trying to be aware enough to make himself pause and go, okay, what am I doing, why, and don't let – because every NFL head coach has an obsession about them or they wouldn't be there. So let's calm the obsession and now see what happens from there.
But, I mean, he could go do TV for 2 years. At any point, he could pick up the phone and call any one of 32 teams and say, I want to be your coach.
And done.
It's done. So, yeah, or he could stay with the Rams. But if you stay with the Rams, I think you have to understand that you're probably taking a step back soon in a division that is just loaded.
Yeah.
And so that step back might not be –
there are 3 other really quality franchises in your division.
Yeah, it might not be the route you want to go. Because a step back, you could go from first to third in a hurry in that division.
Who's the next NFC West team to win a Super Bowl?
I mean, it depends on what the 49ers do at quarterback. It could be them next year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does Aaron Rodgers go there?
Do you believe in Kyler to that level?
To win a Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
they were just mauled by the Rams, but one game, matchup nightmare, a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not holding that against him.
Yeah, sure.
But, yeah, I mean, he could easily. I mean, the 49ers were in the game in the final 2 minutes against the Rams. I mean, they could have been in the Super Bowl easily. I mean, so, yeah, they sure could. If the 49ers take a step up from Garoppolo at quarterback, are they a title contender? Yeah, they were a title contender with Garoppolo.
Yeah, sure.
So, sure.
Rod had a good point. He said they're arguing a little bit about the hardest positions to play in the NFL, corner or quarterback. I still think it's quarterback, but I will say your inability to touch the receiver while he has the ability to do almost any damn thing in the world to you, and him knowing where the ball is going is a matchup nightmare that's hard to put words on.
Sure.
Playing corner in the NFL is incredibly freaking difficult.
Well, I mean, I think most people would agree Jalen Ramsey's the best corner in the league.
Yeah.
And he's
getting burned. I mean,
he's one right guard and right tackle doing their job on one play for 1.5 seconds longer from being the GOAT.
Yeah.
I'm not the
in
GOAT.
In the negative way.
The negative GOAT.
Yeah. 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 No, I know.
I mean, he could have been the GOAT and the GOAT.
Yeah. It's those three. It's quarterback, corner, and left tackle.
And even to some degree, right tackle now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
everybody's athletic.
Well, yeah. The days of
hey, we'll hide that guy over there.
The days of the whole blindside thing pretty much over. I mean, these defensive coaches in the NFL are so smart, and all the linemen are so athletic, and the linebackers are so fast, and they can bring safeties. Like you watch the way the Bengals use Hilton in the blitz package. Most quarterbacks aren't athletic enough to deal with that. And so you have to be really good in protection, or else it really limits what you can do. I was so much of Burrow the other day, like Burrow had a bad game or whatever. Look, when you're getting hit as many times as he got hit in the postseason, it's pretty. I mean, we got tackled like 17 times between the Titans and the Chiefs. Titans and the Rams.
Yeah,
you're getting sacked that many times. Well, there's not everything in your playbook is not available to you anymore. You know, I mean. And he couldn't move around and get away from those guys. I mean, they're so athletic and so big and so strong, and they were limited on what they could do. I mean, they knew they didn't have many opportunities, which might have been why they went for it at 4th and 1 at the 50. I just didn't like that call. I would have punted.
It felt like they had Taylor felt like he just had to get point. Like he felt like there was a number in his head, and we've got to get there no matter what.
Well, and they have a kicker who's
great.
I mean, he's great, you know, and so. Even where they were at the 43 or whatever, they weren't but about 15 yards from him being able to make a kick to send it to overtime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hit a couple other things in a second. First, tell you about Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. Remember, there is basketball tonight, South Carolina, 6 o'clock for that one. The Oxford Community Market is today as well. That's at the Old Armory Pavilion. Marcus King at the Lyric tomorrow night. I think 8 o'clock is a start time for that one. The women play Texas A&M this week. And then baseball this weekend as well. So lots going on this week and every week. If you're coming into town, check out visitoxfordms.com. Go to the events page. Also see the links on where to stay, what to eat, and much more. So again, that's visitoxfordms.com.
We're also brought to you by Lammons Fine Jewelry. Lammons at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for almost 75 years. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, and more. It's the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. We're also brought to you by the College Corner. It is your one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's okay. Go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day with the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle. Pinnacle based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states. Pinnacle provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle, investing is treated like a commodity, and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Get in touch with John. and he will create a special trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories for you and your family. Just give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you options, and know this, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. Also brought to you by Opa, Oxford's newest restaurant on the historic square. Gyros, wraps, kebabs, fresh redfish, lamb chops, and more. Handcrafted cocktails, frozen libations, an amazing candlelit patio, all of that at 306 South Lamar, just south of the Square Courthouse. And we're brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
You love eating shrimp, don't particularly like choosing the right option at the store or cooking at home? You're not alone. Most frozen shrimp available at the store is raised and processed 8,000 miles away and subject to poor farming practices. Don't let a bad option ruin dinner for you. Choose New Orleans-based Prime Shrimp and take pride in the shrimp you eat. They've been peeling and processing shrimp for 70-plus years, and they know how to do it right. Shop primeshrimp.com for a risk-free purchase, money-back guaranteed, shipped straight to your door. Use code MPW for $20 off your first order. Again, that's primeshrimp.com. What'd the halftime show do for you?
It was fine. It was good. I mean, you know, I listened to all that. I mean, I love Dr. Dre and Eminem and Snoop and all that stuff. It was fine. It was a halftime show. It was good. I mean, the people with it's the greatest halftime show ever, whatever. Okay. I mean, I was fine.
It's playing off the meme a little bit. It is the first halftime show that you went, oh, that's geared toward us.
Yeah,
we're
that's
we're the middle-aged people they are gearing that toward now. Because like I'm just on the back end of that. Like it's like that's our people.
That's the first time I've seen Fitty in a while, and he's no longer Fitty. He's $1. He put on some pounds, like a lot of us have. I mean, all those guys are older. Dr. Dre's older. Snoop looks older. Eminem's older. I mean, those are people that
they are aging. Yes, that is correct.
We listened to 20 years ago. It's been a minute. But it was great. It was fine. I don't think it's possible to have a Super Bowl show that is a, quote, great show. It's compressed into, 10 minutes? You got to get a stage out. You got to get a stage off. You got to do all that stuff. It's impossible, frankly, with the exception of Prince, which... That's why I always push back. No, that's the greatest halftime show ever. And it's probably impossible to beat, but I was a Prince guy.
Yeah, sure.
But for Prince, it was kind of like, just give me a guitar, give me a mic, I got it.
Get out of my way. And
you know, there was a lot of that. It was good, but it was sentimental to people, I'm sure, and it was nostalgic to people, and it was good.
Yeah, Eminem's 49, Mary J. Blige is 51, Dre's 56.
Yeah.
I didn't look up how old Snoop Dogg is.
He's probably about that same age. I'm guessing he's late 40s at least, right?
50.
50, yeah.
Yeah, on the dot, 50. October 20th, 1971.
Yeah. Those cats are my age.
They're still moving around all right, though.
Eminem's in his 40s, right?
49. Yeah. 47 or 49, one or the other. Yeah. Well, yeah, because like his dog, like Haley's like 24 or 25 now. Like they used to rap about as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like mid-20s. Something on those lines.
But no, it's good. I always am amused at the pushback one way or the other
on
about
Super Bowl
halftime shows. Like, oh, that was awful, or that was the greatest ever. I'm like, usually neither one. It's just it's a show. It was good. They went and appealed to a mass audience. Most people like at least one of those artists, and a lot of people like all of those artists.
Well, yeah, because they were all in the same genre. I mean, it's very unlikely you go, you know what, Dr. Dre is the best thing ever. Oh God, I hate Snoop Dogg. Like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, frankly, it sounded like my run playlist.
Yeah.
When I go run, that's what I'm listening to 90% of the time. I need something's got to be.
And the other 10's Coldplay. So
and I do listen to some Coldplay. I like Coldplay. I didn't like them until I saw them in person.
No, really?
Yeah.
That changed your perspective?
Totally.
Did it really?
Yeah, they were phenomenal in person. I don't care who says, like, oh, you lose your man card. I don't care. You can have my man card, whatever the hell that means. I'm 52. I don't give a damn. They were great in person. I mean, you talk about a great show. They put on a phenomenal show.
When do they typically announce it? Like 6 months out? Is that kind of right?
I don't remember. I think we knew for a while.
Yeah. Like next year's is not announced yet. They're not like a
No.
year in advance.
I don't think so.
That. Super Bowl is in Arizona next year.
Is that right?
I believe that's correct. Because we've had 2 home Super Bowls in a row now.
Yeah.
Tampa and L.A.
I don't know that the Cardinals are a year away from a Super Bowl. It feels further away than that.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't even looked at the odds for next season. I'm sure they are out, but I have not.
I hadn't even looked.
NFL 2023 Super Bowl odds. I'll take NorthJersey.com's word for it. Let's see real quick. I know it's bad pie. Just give me 10 seconds. That was a bad link, actually. So
Saints host in 2025. Can they be a contender by then?
no earlier than that for damn sure.
Right.
I mean, it would take. But, I mean, look, no, the answer to that was yes. The Bengals did it in 2 years.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's doable.
Sure.
But now the Saints are not operating from a zero base. Their problem is they're so damn far behind cap that.
I don't remember the Michael Jackson Super Bowl performance.
I don't either, actually.
I remember Prince's because he was awesome.
And we all remember, like, JT and Janet and the whole thing. But
Yeah, and I remember Tom Petty.
Okay.
He was good.
Yeah.
'Cause he was always good. I mean, you get the greats.
Was
It's
the
going to be
Saints Super
great.
Bowl, was that the Who?
I can't remember.
For some reason, I think that was the Who. All right. So would you throw money down here or not? I've got 2023 champion odds. Not just reaching, but they have to win the whole thing.
Okay.
Chiefs plus 650. That's your favorite.
No,
That's still not the best one, though, at 650. I don't hate that number necessarily.
I don't hate the number. I just don't think they're going to be a contender for the Super Bowl.
I prefer the Bills at 750 to the Chiefs at 650.
I love that.
I want nothing to do with the Rams at 1100.
No.
That's Vegas stealing money off Sunday.
Yes.
With a repeat.
I don't like their chance to repeat at all.
They're going to be fat and happy. The team's going to be broken up a little bit. We don't even know if they're going to have the best player in the NFL or their coach.
And they got a lot of old dudes.
I mean, Whitworth's gone. Been left tackle for the Rams for a long-ass time.
Yes.
High school championships, 3. National championship with LSU, and now Super Bowl championship as well. So his last game at all 3 levels, he won.
Well, he was smart enough to wait till Ruston was through with its domination in the 80s.
Where'd he play?
West Monroe.
Oh, did he really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want nothing to do with the Cowboys at 1,300.
Nope.
You can get your Bengals at 1,400 for next season.
That wouldn't be a bad purchase.
1,400 is a good number.
It's a good number.
Packers at 1,500.
I don't like that at all. I got questions.
49ers at 1,600.
It's a great get.
I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause you know the quarterback. I'll play that game. That's worth the hundy to see what happens. Chargers at 18.
Love it.
Do you? You think they're that close potentially?
Yep, absolutely. Couple of the right spots.
Really?
Yeah, they got a Super Bowl quarterback.
Okay.
If you got a Super Bowl quarterback, you got a shot.
Yeah, sure. Ravens at 2,000.
Nope, I'm just not sold.
Okay, so at this point, does anybody spark your interest? Because we're getting pretty far down the list of favorites. Denver at 2,200.
I mean, the interest there would be if you buy the Aaron Rodgers stuff.
Right.
But does Aaron Rodgers turn the Broncos into a Super Bowl team? And I don't know that I buy that.
You can get the AFC 1 seed from this year at 2,200. The Tennessee Titans.
So here's where it would be interesting, because this is the Aaron Rodgers rumor that's out there too that appears to have some legs. If Aaron Rodgers plays for the Titans, are they the best team in the AFC? And I think so. But now look, their window is starting to close. They're not getting any younger. It's an older team.
Look, Derrick Henry's got miles on those tires. At some point, an NFL running back gives out.
Well, he gave out a little bit this year. I mean, they patched the tire. And he's a great player, but they got to fix the quarterback deal. Tannehill, and Ryan Tannehill appears to be a super nice guy.
And he is holding you hostage because he's just good enough to make you believe.
Well, he's good enough to win a division. I mean, he's a good quarterback.
He won the AFC.
He's just not a great quarterback.
Regular season.
He's just not a great quarterback.
Yeah. Patriots at 2,200. Your problem there is I think you're a wild card, and that road is a wild card. It's
rough. So, no, but
you're going on the road to Kansas City and Buffalo back to back.
The answer's no.
Cardinals at 2,500.
I mean,
that's worth $20. That's $20.
Yeah, you want to put $20 down on a team?
If I've got like a $500 budget on this thing playing around, that's worth the 20.
Sure.
Colts at 2,800.
No.
Bucks at 2,800.
No.
Seahawks at 3,000.
It's over.
Yeah. Browns at 3,300.
No.
Saints at 3,300.
No.
Dolphins at 3,500.
No.
Vikings, Raiders, Eagles. Stop me if there's one that's interesting.
So far, no.
Bears.
No.
Commanders, Falcons, Panthers, Steelers. Giants, Jags, Jets, Lions, Texans.
No.
Yeah. There is a clear line after Arizona, frankly.
Yeah. After that, it's...
I mean, you'd have to really, really try to convince me on Tampa or the Colts, and I just can't get there.
No. Tampa's going to take a step back. Even if Rodgers went to Tampa, I think that window is closing.
And he's not.
I don't guess. I mean, Rodgers kind of has the league hostage a little bit right now. And he might retire.
Yeah.
I mean, he might decide, you know what? I've got rings. I've got MVPs. I'm healthy. He clearly has other interest in his life. You know, it's the part of Aaron Donald. Do you want to train this hard anymore? You know what it takes to play at that level. At some point, do you want to answer the bell at 5 a.m. every day? Or do you want to go, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to go enjoy my health.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're always one play away from a catastrophic injury. In that league, look how close Matt Stafford came to having his ankle broken in the game. Look how close
that thing really rolled up.
Look how close Joe Burrow came to getting hurt again in the fourth quarter of that game.
The knee.
Yeah, I mean, do you want that, or do you want to go, hey, you know what, I'm going to take my millions and my legacy, and I'm going to be healthy in my 30s and go live. I've got all this money. I don't get to take it with me when it's over. I'm going to go have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
Go do some fun things, invest in some stuff. And Aaron Rodgers could pick up the phone and get a TV gig tomorrow. One of those pregame deals, they'd hire him tomorrow. He could go be Terry Bradshaw. Look around. Terry Bradshaw lives a pretty good life.
He does. Never loses a football game.
Never loses. Has made a lot of money. Is famous. Gets his exposure. Doesn't lose. Has fun. And hangs around the studio on Sunday.
I'd say his work schedule is 20 weeks.
It's 20 weeks, and the work week starts on Friday and is over on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. When that camera goes off at noon, peace.
Yeah, I mean, they hang out in the studio and do the post-game stuff, but, they're chilling.
Watching football.
Aaron Rodgers might do that. Yeah. I don't know.
Mentioned at the start of the show, South Carolina, Ole Miss tonight. Gamecocks 14-10, 5-7 in the SEC. Ole Miss 12-13, 3-9 in the SEC, coming off the loss to Missouri on Saturday. South Carolina's kind of sort of held it together with duct tape. They're not very good, but they managed to be sort of kind of mediocre in this league. They have actually hit a wall, though. They've lost 3 of their last 4 difficult games. Not really necessarily a surprise, but they lost against Tennessee at home, Kentucky at home, and then at Georgia, 80-68 in their previous game to this one. And they've got a difficult road the rest of the way, where the Gamecocks are almost certainly going to lose at least 4 of their final 5 after tonight, the rest of the season. So tough spot for Frank Martin there. What is his level of hot seat right now?
It's on fire. I think that decision's been made.
He's out. Crean's out.
Yeah, South Carolina's going to let Frank Martin finish.
Konzo out?
That part I don't know. I don't think so. Konzo's contract is problematic for Missouri. Frank's out, knows it.
That's it.
I wrote this in 10 thoughts, and I've already got some people to kind of push back a little. There's not much left to write about or talk about with this Ole Miss basketball team other than what happens moving forward.
Player and coach.
Yeah, and so people like, oh, so you're saying Kermit should be fired. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying that if Kermit is staying, what Kermit has to start to address, I don't mean publicly, but internally, is his staff set up to recruit at this level? Does he have to change the way he recruits at this level? Because simply put, they have too many dead spots on their roster right now. You know, you can't have 3 freshmen on the end of your roster on scholarship who just aren't ready to help you in today's college basketball.
Sure.
And if you do, then the other spots – because here's the thing about the injury thing, right? Auburn just went through a stretch without its starting point guard. I didn't hear anybody going, oh, well, bless their hearts. They lost a player. That sucks. Yeah, people get hurt. LSU, I mean, we all make fun of Will Wade. They went through a stretch without Pinson. Game after game after game. I didn't see anybody go, well, you know what? He kind of deserves a little bit of a break because they didn't have Pinson. People get hurt in sports. If the Rams had lost the other day, would everybody go, well, you know, they would have won if
Beckham doesn't get hurt?
Well, people get hurt.
Yeah.
And so Ole Miss had some injuries. They did. But that's not an honest telling of the story.
It's also when it happens. Because, yeah, Ruffin's ACL, their best player, is out for the season. But they were whatever they were when he got hurt.
Right. That's kind of, yeah.
So does it change the season? No.
I mean, you know, would you have liked to have seen what they would have done if everybody had stayed healthy
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
But that applies to 300 and some odd programs. And if you ask any coach in mid-October, hey, what do you really want this year? They'll tell you health. Everybody stays healthy. Everybody stays healthy.
All my dudes.
Everybody stays healthy the whole year. I mean, fresh as a damn daisy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that realistic? Every coach would go, no. Someone's going to roll an ankle. Someone's going to hurt a knee. It's going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. Guys are going to get hurt, and that's where you have to have depth on your roster. And that's, to me, that's the criticism of Kermit Davis is not his coaching ability. I think he's proven to be an excellent coach. I don't even think it's development. I think guys have clearly developed there. It's you have dead spots on your roster where guys just can't help you the way you need them to help you when you have – and it's not fair to call freshmen dead weight, and so I'm not. But they're not ready to play. And so if you're already down to 10 scholarship guys and then you lose a couple of guys to injury like they have, and then a couple of your upper-class guys just aren't contributing consistently, and that's the case at Ole Miss, well, you end up where you are, which is 12-13, 3-9 in the league. Your net as of Sunday was 107, and your season is the last month of this season is fairly meaningless unless you believe, and I don't know whether I do or don't, unless you believe, hey, he's got to win 3 more games to cool things off and to carry forward. And I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. I just don't know.
Because really, what's the 4-14, 6-12? I mean, what is really the difference? You know,
I would argue nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue that, you know, if you're –
that's not changing the direction of the program either way.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I would argue that if you're Keith Carter, that – be curious to know what Keith thought about this. I'm never going to find out. If you know for a fact that Kermit Davis is coming back next season, probably could help him in recruiting right now by saying it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And then people get into – I wrote about this too. People get into the contracts and the rollovers.
Yeah,
whatever.
He figured that out.
That's semantics.
Yeah.
And I realize it's real money, but whatever.
Yeah, it's not changing anything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you could look at it, and Kermit's older. You could look at a coach and go, look, we can't roll over this whole deal. Now, we'll give you another year, but we're not going to change the buyout. We're going to leave it where it is. We're not going to roll that over too. And if he goes, well, that's not agreeable, okay, well, now we have a problem. But Kermit, I'm guessing would
begrudgingly say okay.
I doubt if Kermit thinks he's coaching 6 more seasons.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service available, parental controls, network security, wireless mesh extender if you need that, and much more. So get the best internet in Lafayette County, 662-238-3159.
I'll have a mailbag up tomorrow at some point. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt, Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. You can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. What are your goals for 2022? Does your company need hard-to-find talent to meet these goals? Maybe you're personally seeking a career change. Let this be your year. To make the change, your first step needs to be to contact Service Specialist Employment Agency. They're the oldest employment agency in Mississippi. They recruit in all industries. Remember, there's nothing to lose by reaching out. No cost to you as a candidate. Everything is kept confidential. Service Specialist wishes you and your company a successful 2022. You can contact them at 662-832-5138. We'll have the Peyton Chatney Show brought to you by The Rogue. Hopefully here in the next 48 hours or so. That's my goal. That got kind of thrown together pretty quickly when it all came together. It lingered, and then it came together, and so we're trying to get that done on a busy week for Peyton, a busy week for us, working on graphics, got all sorts of stuff going on. But anyway, that's brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue made it possible. They are your destination for fine men's clothing. Please go check them out, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. You can also call them at 601-362-6383 or send them an email at info@therogue.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward and chase after a better version of yourself every day. Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment, financing available at corinthdental.com. Also brought to you by Bell & Grove. Based out of Chattanooga, Daryl Oliver and Evan Dial built Bell & Grove. It's a logistics provider with more than 35 years of transportation industry experience. Bell & Grove specializes in domestic freight movement throughout the continental U.S. They can navigate through supply chain issues while also leaning on their partner carriers to get the most competitive rate possible for their customers. In addition, Bell & Grove can help customers design a custom solution for their shipping needs. Whether your business is in need of moving a truckload, a partial shipment, or a flatbed, Bell & Grove can accommodate you. They also provide both air and ground expedited services for customers who need to move product quickly. For more information, call Daryl Oliver at 865-672-6557. And we're brought to you by Southern Traditions Farm. It's a 68-acre, 32-stall, upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. With 2 sand rings, a grass ring, and miles of wooded trails, there's a lot to be offered at Southern Traditions, including horseback riding offerings from beginner lessons with trainer Susan Walt to buying your first horse and competing at nationally recognized competitions. Under the teachings of one of the best young professionals in the sport, Bowers Cone, Southern Traditions has high aspirations for the future. Along with owners Ben and Hillary Craddock, Southern Traditions has become one of the leading equestrian facilities in Mississippi. For information or questions about lessons, boarding, or sales, contact Bowers at bowerscone1@gmail.com or message them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm.
Podcast also brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. It's on South Lamar in Oxford, also on the Square in Holly Springs with Tyson Drugs. They offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. One trip, one delivery. You have everything you need when you need it there with those 2 community pharmacies, G&M and Tyson Drugs, and they deliver locally in the Oxford area. So again, let them help you, 662-236-2222. Elsewhere around the SEC tonight, The Florida Gators are in College Station. Gators and Aggies tonight. That is a 6 o'clock start on SEC Network. In that one, A&M is a 1-point favorite. By the way, Ole Miss a 4-point favorite tonight against the Gamecocks at home.
Yeah,
and
right.
The over-under 135.5 tonight for Ole Miss and South Carolina. The best game of the night, Kentucky is in Knoxville tonight. That is an 8 o'clock game on ESPN. That is a 1-point Tennessee favorite on the line. The over-under 140 in that one. The Wildcats have been white hot lately. They're 21-4, 10-2 in the SEC.
It's the best Kentucky team in a long time.
Maybe since that undefeated team in 15 or 16.
They're legit. And Tennessee's found an identity.
They're 9-3 in the league. They are a sleepy 9-3. We overlooked them a little bit.
It's because they started slow, but they're good. They'll defend you. They have guys who can score, multiple guys. Kennedy Chandler is an elite guard. Fulkerson's that guy that's been there forever. He's kind of a grinder, can score, though. He's better than he gets credit for being. Rick Barnes is a really good coach. That's got a chance to be a really good game.
Also at 8 o'clock tonight, competing for airtime with that one on SEC Network, the Arkansas Razorbacks, 19-6, 8-4 in the SEC. They were in Columbia, Missouri tonight. Missouri 10-14, 4-7, coming off the win against the Rebels.
A trap game for Arkansas tonight, because they just came off an emotional week against Auburn and Alabama. They beat Auburn in overtime, took Alabama within 1 point. And they got Tennessee at home on Saturday. Well, it'll be a big day there in Fayetteville. This is a trap for them. This is one that I guarantee you Eric Musselman is stressed out over this game. You win this one and you're fine. You get to go play. But you lose this one and it kind of stings because Missouri is sitting there with a 143 net.
Ooh, God.
And they're playing okay.
Yeah. They're okay at home at times.
They're okay at home. And
they beat Bama. I mean,
and Arkansas is a 32 net. And if they'll just take care of business against Missouri, then they get a shot against Tennessee, who is a 10 net going into tonight. So you're good.
Arkansas by 7.5 is your line in that one.
Boy, I kind of like Missouri in the points there.
Tomorrow night, just quickly, Mississippi State's at Alabama tomorrow night.
Simple. Mississippi State's got to win the game. Yeah. They're out of time.
14-10, 5-6. Alabama 16-9, 6-6. Georgia's in Baton Rouge tomorrow night, and then Scottie Pippen and the Commodores are at Auburn tomorrow night.
Good luck.
No lines yet on those games.
No. I like Auburn minus the points.
Yeah.
I loved Auburn minus the points against A&M, and they needed a loss. They got it. It was perfect. Bruce would never admit that out loud, but deep down he was thrilled.
Yeah. What was their score on Saturday?
They won by like 18.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I saw that now you say it. I expect Ole Miss to announce this at some point in the next day or so, but they're going to go with Diamond, Gaddis, McDaniel this weekend from a rotation standpoint against Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern coached by former Ole Miss assistant Mark McMillan. He is the head coach there. I expect these things to move. My hunch, barring, guys showing out and being better than maybe we anticipate or holding on to roles more than we think because there's so many options. I don't expect these three guys to be in these spots come the middle of conference play. I think Mike is pointing toward veterans here on opening weekend is my guess. That's the way it looks. You knew Diamond was going to get the ball on opening day. Drew McDaniel on Sunday is a bit of a surprise. I think most people expected Jack Washburn, the Oregon State transfer, to be in that rotation. I expect he will throw Tuesday against Arkansas State in the first midweek game. McDaniel, out of high school, really talented, big-time prospect, a guy that just hasn't consistently put it together. I know he was working kind of on some mental side stuff. I think that's let him down more than stuff has over the years. So it's a big opportunity for him. If you can make a lot out of playing Charleston Southern over a weekend, I think Drew McDaniel's the one to watch. I think it's a really big opportunity for him to try to put a hold on a spot, see if he can stick there. And then you get your first look at John Gaddis. He's going to be he's an experienced left-hander coming from Corpus Christi, smart kid. He's deferred medical school for a year to finish his career at Ole Miss. He was banged up. He had a UCL relocation surgery right before the season last year. He pitched but was not overly good for like half the year, and then it got healthy, and he got really, really good. I know it's not LSU and Mississippi State, but he allowed 4 earned runs his last 52.1 innings there with the Islanders. And that was against, same Houston State and people. It wasn't terrible competition. I think they're in the Southland. And he will throw on this middle day again, lefty, 89-91. Curveball's really good. Changeup, splitter's really good. Fastball's got some life. Curveball's just kind of average, but we'll see what he's got in that middle spot. The whole cliche of work fast, throw strikes, all that kind of stuff. Has a chance to be a really good college pitcher. I don't know if there's tons of prospect there, but good college pitcher for Ole Miss. So we'll see. That's where it's kind of sitting. They're healthy. You already know their offensive lineup. We've talked about that. So, again, Friday, 4 o'clock, Rebels and Buccaneers are the mascot for Charleston Southern in that one. So, anyway, quick thing there.
When's UCF? Is that next weekend?
No, that is not until the third weekend, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a couple weeks away from that. That's in Orlando.
Gotcha.
It's Charleston Southern, VCU, which last year was like a 30 RPI team. They were a really offensive team. They ended up in the state regional last year. UCF and then Oral Roberts, I believe, are the four
Gotcha.
non-leagues. And then Brian and I kind of stumbled on this. I didn't realize it. Their schedule in the league, it's as good as humanly possible.
Ole Misses.
Yeah, they have Auburn and Alabama in the first 3 weekends to try to get a little bit of a head start. They play Arkansas and State back-to-back to kind of get that over with at whatever point they do that. And then they missed the top 3 finishers in the East from a preseason standpoint. They don't play Georgia, Florida, or Vanderbilt this season.
So it's about as good as you can draw it up.
You cannot. You got Tennessee at home. I mean, really, it's just if you outline that thing, it's exactly how you would.
State's here.
State is it's that big weekend. That's a Road Bowl weekend, and all that stuff.
And then at Arkansas is the week after that.
Yes, that is correct. So that's where that's sitting. Have you watched a second of the Olympics?
I have not.
I've stumbled on some snowboarding, but that's been about it. A little skiing.
Yeah,
and that's been.
It's not like a boycott or something. I just don't have any interest in it at all.
The amount of interest that I have in summer versus winter is startling. And then also, we just got done with the Olympics. Like the Summer Olympics just ended.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of, okay, to it.
The fact that it's in China probably has
there's no doubt about
certainly
that.
played a role in my lack of interest.
Sure.
If it were in, Iceland or something, I might have more.
Norway was hosting.
Sure.
Lillehammer or something.
Yeah, I mean, I might have some degree of interest, but no, I have none whatsoever.
Yeah. So, all right. Again, basketball tonight. We will talk about that tomorrow, whatever else comes our way between now and then. So hope all of you have a wonderful day. Stay safe. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.